Good morning. I'm Kyle, and this is Okami Shotokan karate, and this is some of the best karate in the world, and I'm really, really good at it. So I'm going to do some demonstrations to let you know why it's the best karate in the world, and we'll go from there. So I don't have my gi on, it's drying. My belt's in the mail. Hold on a second. Take off my flip-flops. This is all pretty clear, stones and things like that, but at my level I can assess this stuff out blindfolded. So I'll take my stance right here. So my karate, when I'm talking about front to back, like most karate is, if we're in our stance and we're going front to back, is designed for Japanese speed, like my senseis from Japan, and Turkish power. If you watch Team Turkey in international karate competition, it's a competition of Japanese speed and Turkish power. And what it does with kind of my ingenuity and my work ethic is it combines those two things, and it adds my sensei's Shotokan style for maximum power with torque in my hips, with some elements of Muay Thai that I learned from Thailand, to have the most amount of power and be the most effective and quickest when we're talking about an in or an attack when it comes to karate. And my countering, if somebody's coming at me, is based on Bruce Lee's cat pose. So that right there is cat back. It's cat back. It's cat back. It's cat back, cat in. That's how I train. But I work with other people in MMA with Okami Shotokan in their primary discipline. Like I'm working with a kickboxer right now. Like this is her stance. So her cat back is boom, or my cat back is boom. So I can work with different disciplines. Strictly speaking for karate, I'm going to talk about why my karate is the best in the world. So this is an in, right? That's an in with a front kick. No, that's an in with a high kick. That's an in with a front roundhouse. And I use English, so I'm in. And that is boom. Japanese quickness. Team Turkey doesn't do that. Boom! Japanese are the best in the world at that, except for my technique. But if you watch me really, boom! I hit it with Turkish power as well. So that's the in with the front foot. But my back foot, what I do for my in, is I turn my hips. And that's how I was taught in Japanese Shotokan from a Japanese karate instructor in Japan. He does dojo waku online and is very talented. And kind of that type of in focuses on torquing our hips. So I torque my hips when I come in with my back foot. But what I do is I do the Japanese in of the right there on my back foot, but I do it on this front foot too. So I'm going in with my front foot. So it's a boom. You get it? But I stomp down. I stomp down with Turkish power. So it's boom. Like that. Well, I'm torquing my hips like that. But I also have elements of Muay Thai. So if I'm kicking low, and I'm trying to stay low and slow, boom! I have Muay Thai form that I incorporate into it. But this is strictly karate. And then what I do too with my in, and this is why it's the best in the world, instead of boom, like that, I double clutch. So it's a boom, boom. And it throws off the timing of the enemy. So I torque open my hips, and then I go in. Japanese speed, Turkish power, American work ethic, and my German engineering ingenuity combined for the best karate in the world. So that's my end. It's a boom! It's a boom! And I'm not overextending because my tendons are sore and I don't want to hit a target or whatever and hurt my tendons. And then we have the in for striking with hands, for striking with hands, for striking with hands. We're going boom! And plant the foot like Team Turkey. And come back. Come in, boom! Plant the foot like Team Turkey. I tend to do it with jabs. What they really do is that cross on the back foot. I tend to do it with my jab, boom! Boom! And I dance out of it like that, which is something not a lot of people do. No one that I know of. So again, most ingenuity, best karate in the world is Okami Shotokan, Wolf Shotokan karate. So I come in, right, teasing the jab, I'm gonna stop down, boom! Plant that foot, that's my cross. I call it a cross. So in Turkey though, boom! On their back foot with their cross. That's not what I do. Tease the jab, boom! With my cross. Open the hips, torque the hips, stomp down like Team Turkey dance. That's my end. I can do it both ways too. Boom! Double clutch. I like the double clutch. That's my end. And then to counter, I'm at the point where if you come at me, I'll probably in and meet you. But if I can't, I can brush aside, roundhouse coming in, brush aside, up to the jaw, brush aside for my cat back. That's my cat back. Boom! Snappy. Snappy like I learned in Japan. Back like Bruce Lee. Boom! And then I can counter. So I have the cat back and block, and they just kicked up, right? Or they threw a jab, so I can tap back, snap it up, block into submission like Matsubushi Ryu, which I also learned in Japan. Don't rush. Right to the ribs. And that's full force, mixed martial arts. Self-defense, because Okami Shotokan is meant for self-defense with bare knuckle street fighting. But what it's an international karate competition might look like something like because we don't hit full force and something like that. And that's my counter. With blocking, again, like I learned in Japan, torquing of the hips, torquing of the hips, torquing of the hips. So we're gonna block into submission. Step into it. You do it with the cat. Best karate in the world. And Okami Shotokan combines Muay Thai on top of those two forms of karate. So when you're talking about my in with like the shin kick, or when you're talking about people coming in close in mixed martial arts, it's a little different form to protect joints and step in centrifugal force. And then also, it's like how I do my uppercut. So I have that torque, like I learned in Japan, but I also have the centrifugal force, like that, of the Muay Thai that I learned in Thailand. So that's why Okami Shotokan is the most efficient and best form of martial arts in the world. And I like to teach it. And what I do on top is if we're not in international karate competition or even mixed martial arts with kind of the Muay Thai, because if we have to defend ourselves against multiple people, step in, step back, walk up, step back. Circular pattern of Kung Fu. So we can work on defending ourselves against multiple people.